while, you went to the dentist, but you refused to have your gap closed.
Do you really think you can have a CoverGirl contract with the gap in your mouth?
Yes, why not?
This is all people see. It's easy to reach beautiful CoverGirl. It's not marketable.
Yeah, just a little bit is okay, but I don't want to completely close it.
Well, I guess she just left the gap wide open for another girl, baby.
I agree.
Guys, what's up? It's Dani here. Wow, what a crazy day yesterday with that video going viral. So this video is just to weigh in on everything. I appreciate all of the news outlets that reached out to see if I wanted to comment. I honestly didn't feel it necessary until late last night when I received a message from Slick Woods. Shout out to you, Slick. I knew in that moment, after reading her words, that I have a responsibility to address what really happened and to speak my truth. But let me tell you what this video is not. This is not a video to war against anyone. This is not a video to defame anyone's character. And this is not a video to discuss my relationship with Tyra. This is a video for me to speak my truth and to provide clarity and for me to address an issue that was done 15 years ago that carries weight and that clearly affected a lot of young girls in America after watching it. Before I get into the ins and outs of that episode, I want to take you guys back a little bit before we go forward so that everything makes sense and flows cohesively. I did top model listening to the wisdom of Elliot, my brother. Honestly, the greatest wisdom he could have ever given me, even though at the time I thought it was so dumb. He knew I wanted to get out of Little Rock really badly. And he was like, yo, you should do top model just to get out. I was like, I would never in my life do that. It's fake modeling. They humiliate girls. Terrible idea. He was like, yo, just do it to get out. It's a one-way ticket out to New York. Genius. Bingo. We're doing top model. With that being said, I had one goal in mind. The one goal was to get out of my hometown, to create a different, better life for myself. That was it. I wasn't concerned about challenges. I wasn't concerned about the things that would be set up in place to kind of deter me and to knock me off my game. I was so focused. I wasn't even hungry. I was starved to get out. You need to understand that, starved. So any and everything, the opposition that came my way, I was so deaf to it because I had a goal. And anyone that stood in my way of getting out of Little Rock was going to get bulldozered over, period. There were a few things that came up. Like the first one I think was my diction, my dialect, my accent, whatever you want to label it. When I'm filming and I'm in the middle of it, I had no idea that I sounded different than the rest of the girls. I'm like, all right, like, how do I fix it? You say I sound weird, how do I fix it? It wasn't until I got off of the show, went back home, and then I watched the show over and I was like, oh, it's just a matter of me enunciating my words. You know what I'm saying? Done, easy, fixed it, moving on to the next. Cut to that particular episode. Let's get into it about the gap. We were all going to the dentist as a whole. Me and Joni went first. We get to the dentist and the guy asked me, do you want to get anything done to your teeth? And I said, yeah, clean me up, whiten my teeth. He repeatedly asked me if I want to close my gap. No, I don't want to close my gap. Pushpin, none of this aired on TV. I'm giving you guys the behind the scenes, right? He kept asking me if I wanted to close my gap. Nah, bruh. Super cool. I'm super secure in my gap. Of course, like any other kid, I'd be lying to you if I said I grew up loving my long neck, my jawbone, and my gap. I did not. I hated it all. I used to cry and ask my mother for braces. We couldn't afford braces. What did my mother say to me? She reminded me that my two grandmothers, who I absolutely adored, had gaps. They're queens. You're just like your grandmothers. You know what? I learned to accept and love my gap. So on Top Model, when they wanted to close it, I was like, nah, fam, I'm good. Cut to, we're now in elimination. So I go forward. Tyra's like, why didn't you get your gap closed? I'm like, huh? She's like, I told you to get your gap closed. I'm like, no, you didn't. She looks off camera right to production, which none of you guys ever see. I look off stage, camera right to production. Kim Mott gives me one of these. In that moment, I knew what was happening. I knew that I was basically set up and not being told that Tyra wants me to get my gap closed so that it's good for TV, right? So in that moment, the 19, 20-year-old Danielle stood there realizing that it was my one-way ticket out on this side or keeping my gap on this side and going back to Little Rock, Arkansas. What you think I'm gonna choose, fam? So Tyra says to me, if I send you back to the dentist, will you get your gap closed? and I meet her with another question. So what you're saying to me is, if I tell you no, then you're gonna send me home tonight. Me and Tyra went and did that whole fiasco about 2 or 3 times, which you guys saw none of that on TV. What you saw is me coming up with a compromise saying that I'm okay with you closing it some of the way, but not all of the way. Let me explain something to you. The family that I come from, a family of hustlers, a family of go-getters, I was not going to allow something that is physical on my face to stop me from getting out to make a better life for myself. I had a laser-focused goal. Nothing or no one was gonna stand in my way. And it wasn't about copping out. It was about understanding what really carries weight and holds value in my life, and teeth was not one of them. I wasn't tight because of Tyra's comment about me not being able to model with a gap. I wasn't tight about Miss J's comment about leaving the gap wide open for the next girl. All of that was trivial to me. I've heard it all before. What I was tight about is them trying to play me and making good for TV. However, the me now and reading the comments and understanding the weight that it created in other girls who saw that. This is why this post is being made, because I want to address all of those young girls, because I've been using this time in quarantine to really go back and to love on and to nurture the little Danielle from childhood. So I'm gonna take this time to build up and to speak to all of my young queens that saw that episode, that were truly affected by Tyra's words. I want to speak to you right now. You're beautiful. And I'm not talking about a physical feature. It doesn't matter if you have a gap, stacked teeth, straight teeth, it matters not. It doesn't matter if you're black, brown, white, indifferent, other. It doesn't matter. What makes you beautiful is in here. It's a matter of your self-worth, high self-worth or low self-worth. And no one can establish that except you. So I'm speaking to all the little girls. And if I could love on all of you right now, I would. I want to remind you of your worth. You're a masterpiece. You were so loved. You were so adored, and you're beautiful. And it's not because someone higher up says that you're beautiful. You don't become a star because someone acknowledges your light. You are light. You are worth. You are valued. You are loved. Always stand in your truth and your power, and don't let anyone ever tell you that you're not. If you have a goal, go for it. Bulldozer any and everybody out the way that's standing in opposition of you. I love you guys. Be well.